Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll just go ahead and start the call. I have some prepared remarks, then I'll open it up for questions and answers. Again, this is Mike Shea. I'm President and CEO of Gold Coast Mining Corporation. First, first part of business is the safe harbor statement. Matters discussed in this conference call contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. When used in this press release, the words anticipate, believe, estimate, may, intend, expect, and similar expressions identify such forward-looking statements. Actual results, performance, or achievements could differ materially from those contemplated, expressed, or implied by the forward-looking statements made in this conference call. These forward-looking statements are based largely on the expectations of the company and are subject to a number of risks and uncertainties. These include, but are not limited to, the impact of economic, competitive, and other factors affecting the company and its operations, markets, products, and distributor performance. The other thing that I would mention is that anytime and all reference made to marijuana and cannabis are in regards to legal marijuana and cannabis. I issued a press release today that I'm very, very, very excited about regarding the mobile testing labs. This was a contact that actually was generated from a shareholder, and we sat down, met several times, and he is an entrepreneur and a grower of medical marijuana in Maine, and had expressed the concern, which was shared by many, that we found through due diligence regarding the quality and composition of marijuana being sold in dispensaries. And it got to such an extent that people that would visit dispensaries ended up going directly to the grower to see if they could purchase medical marijuana. The idea germinated from how can we address this market, not only from a financial perspective, but obviously from a perspective that we want participants, medical participants in this industry, to have safe products and know what levels of concentrations there are in terms of CBD, THC, etc., and make sure that there's no poisons or other additives that could be used through the grow process. This is exciting because it will be the first lab that I know of up in Maine. And to make it convenient for the growers, for the dispensaries, we came up with the concept of doing a mobile testing lab. It'll be located in the center of the state, and it will be able to reach those growers and dispensaries within a 2-hour drive. It's a very niche area. The margins are extremely, extremely attractive, and I'll get into that in a minute. And it is something that, quite frankly, we can see rolling out starting in Maine and going through the Northeast and other states where medical marijuana or recreational marijuana is available. The concept is simple. We will have somebody, we have identified this person, who will visit growers, do the samplings, issue the results, and those results can then be packaged with the marijuana and sold to either the caregiver's patients or to the dispensaries. We see that this is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity to broaden the horizons and generate cash flow for the company. The investment is nominal. The returns are substantial. Let me give you an update on Colorado. As I have press released before, we did enter into a consulting agreement That partnership is working well. We are in the midst of evaluating moving the location to an inside facility using the same grower. And there's a number of reasons for doing that. Is obviously indoor growing leads to a more consistent and product, higher yields, and in particularly security. We are in the process of talking to 2 other folks in regards to doing something of a larger nature. These individuals have outgrown their existing facilities and placing them into a larger building, which we would lease to them. So we continue to march on in Colorado, and I think it's the opportunities there are boundless. We're only constrained by capital. MJ Merchant, I think that we finally reached the goal, not with the original credit card processing company, but with a different processing company that I've been in contact with. And I think that within the next week, we will have that program up and running. It's amazing the number of responses, applications that I receive and have received since we announced the product from dispensaries looking for the solution. We have saved all those contacts, we have communicated with them, and they are obviously patient and waiting for the solution. So once it's put in place, that product will begin to take off. The numbers are staggering. Because not only do we get a setup fee, but we participate in all the charges that are all the sales that are made using the credit card. The 420 concept continues to generate revenue, certainly not at the level that I like. We have a plan to implement to drive more revenues through that, but right now it is still just a business that I actually love because it's very, very, very takes very little time to process the orders, and it's just a matter of driving more traffic through that. The MJ Exchange, as I noted on the cannabis webcast, there's 1,700 people registered. We don't have the participation level that I would like. We have some thoughts on how to drive that, including guest columns. One of the sites that I did look at was NORML, the National NORML site, which is the organization for the legalization of marijuana, and looked at their blog and found that if I had a guest host, and I have a lot of people that would like to write some articles, that it will lead to a couple of different things. One, obviously more discussion. Two, broaden out or balance the site from more of a recreational use to both recreational as well as medicinal. So collectively, the businesses that we have put together have created a very, very strong foundation for the company. I couldn't be more pleased with the products that we've put together. It's now time for executing and for these things to pay a return to shareholders. I'd be remiss in saying that I'm quite disappointed in the share price, and in particular relative to our peers that are trading substantially higher than we are. Some are suspended. Some have substantially higher share structures than we do. Nonetheless, this is not a trip-zip company. This is it's ridiculously low. And there are things that I will be doing from an awareness perspective to get the message out, including conference calls like this, including the cannabis webcast that we did, a month ago or so, and including trade shows. I will make a comment that I've heard from the founder or creator of the cannabis webcast, and the YouTube clips of our presentation were the second most viewed out of anybody during that full day of presentations. So people are looking at us, and so that leads me to believe that I'm not articulating the story enough, because these are exciting times for the company, and it's very, very well positioned. We obviously will continue to work on other opportunities, as I indicated, in Colorado, Oregon, Washington, etc. This one concept in Colorado that we're working on is, all I can say is that it's so attractive, it's incredible. And I would like to mention that, quite frankly, a lot of these opportunities are coming from shareholders. I don't want to name them, but it's shareholders helping the company, and I couldn't be more pleased and grateful to those people that are involved and really trying to help. We're thinly capitalized. It's me and a couple other people that are helping us build this company. And a company is being built, a real company, and that was my goal from the beginning. In terms of corporate actions, on a go-forward basis, and I alluded to this in the conference call and presentation that I did for the cannabis webcast, name change. I will be announcing the name change contest the 1st of December. With the target of having a new name ticker by the first of the year, certainly in January. That all depends on FINRA. The sore subject continues to be the audit. I pretty much have made the decision, given where we are right now, that we will switch firms and we'll begin the audit beginning of January. And we'll only have the 2 years audited financial statements for 2013, 2014, all the books and records that I have control over, and will be sufficient to get an audit done ASAP. Obviously, once we get the audit done, we do the Form 10 and the quote-unquote uplisting. And I think that will help not only in terms of share price, but in terms of credibility for the company. One of the things that I am focused on and am trying to work with people to develop ideas is awareness programs. I'm not sure if anybody saw the New York Post article that ran a couple days ago about the marijuana sector, in particular OTC companies that are raking in millions of dollars and not having any products. And they had mentioned a couple of tickers that were suspended and some that are not suspended. So the scrutiny continues. I'm absolutely refused to do an investor awareness program where all they do is you get new posters on investor hubs or other chat room sites and regurgitate nonsense. It has to be done professionally, legally, and quite frankly, we have a very, very, very good story to tell. I'm very bullish. This company is poised for growth just with what we have right now. And so, as I said, I'm excited. I'm optimistic. Failure is not an option. I will continue to push these programs. You probably won't see any additional programs. You'll see us focus on the lab testing rollout, as well as opportunities in Colorado, Washington, Oregon to support growers and via the real estate player consulting agreements. And I firmly believe that we will be profitable in 2015. And that is my goal. If we are not profitable, I will consider it a failure. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Q&A. However, first, some shareholders have sent in some questions that I would like to address before I open it up to the full room. This comes from Carmen. Mike, are you planning to uplist to the OTCQB, and if so, what is the timetable approximately? As I indicated, we'll have a new accountant engaged by the end of this year. We will give them all the books and records, and I can't see why they wouldn't be able to generate 2 years of audited financials within 90 days, despite the fact that it's their busiest time of the year. I will not engage a company that cannot commit to that time frame. The second question she asked is your plan to dramatically reduce the outstanding shares of GDSM, and if so, by how many and over what period of time? Obviously, I'd love to reduce the number of shares outstanding. There's a number of legal issues regarding buybacks, et cetera, that probably prohibit me. I have not looked at them because, quite frankly, we're not in a position to expend capital to do a share buyback. All available capital is being invested into the company. And that includes, quite frankly, my compensation, which in the initial conference call that I made when I took over back in July of last year, people asked me, okay, Mike, what's your compensation? And I told them that I have a contract agreement for $10,000 a month. Quite frankly, if I get $7,000 a month, it's probably a good day. And then out of that, I do pay a substantial amount of the company's expenses, including press releases, et cetera. So unlike many companies where the CEOs are making very good living, quite frankly, the money's just not there, and I prefer to have it invested in the company. This one comes from Shane. Conference call needs more status on financials, which I've given. What are the details of the agreement in terms of potential revenue? Let me say this. Revenues from the labs, I anticipate in 2015 to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $60,000. And that's really just a factor of how quickly we can get started up, how quickly we initiate our brand. I do believe that we'll be able to establish a brand where the dispensaries won't buy marijuana without our testing results. So on a low end, I'm saying that it's somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000 per year. On the Colorado opportunity, we are looking somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $15,000 per month. So you do the math on that, and you're looking, somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000 per year. These are all net numbers, by the way. So that gives me the confidence level that we will be profitable. Secondly, if we can work out this next transaction in Colorado, those numbers will double. That's how good that opportunity is. The other question was, are your interim financial reports going to be filed on time? Yes. And I think that is all the questions I had received via email to be asked. At this point, I'll open it up to the room. If you do have a question, hit 5 star on your phone, and I'll see that you do have a question, and then I'll call on you to ask that question. So at this point, please, any questions, hit 5 star. I am not seeing any questions, and I'm not sure whether it's due to the system. I'm going to unmute everybody. There's one question. Yes, what's your question, please?
Hey, Mike, this is Jason from Louisiana. I was wondering about the E-Trade situation. Have you heard anything about that?
It's not an E-Trade, it's Scottrade.
Or Scottrade, I'm sorry.
Right. Scottrade refuses to deal with me in any way, shape, or form. I will tell you this, and this will be news for everybody. There is no doubt that our share structure has increased, and that does cause concern. And many companies do receive a DTC chill. I have been in contact with the DTC. They reviewed all of our issuances and have cleared us, so there is no threat of GDSM being chilled. I'm not sure why Scottrade continues not to trade us. Any other questions? Again, 5 star for questions. Here's another question. Yes, please, your question.
This is Pierre from Florida. We have Amendment 2 coming up in November, and if that for participation in this market.
I'm sorry?
This is Pierre from Florida, and we have Amendment 2 on the November ballot. And if that passes, does the company have any plans to enter the market in Florida?
Absolutely. I already have somebody on the ground who's monitoring the situation and is familiar with what we're trying to accomplish and how we're trying to accomplish these things from a legal perspective. I do have an attorney that specializes in marijuana down in Florida, and quite frankly, I think it'd be a very hotbed. And I say that for 2 different reasons. Florida, just due to its population, is huge. I think that if the rec market, comes around, that will be huge. But there is no doubt about it. There are a lot of older people in Florida. And one of the things that where I spend a lot of time on is looking at the medicinal side of this business. And the people, the elderly, or people with disabilities are tired of taking pharmaceuticals and not getting the results. And so just out of desperation, they will try. My medical marijuana. And the results are staggering. And there is real healing applications. So I think that Florida would be gigantic for medicinal, and we'll be there on the forefront.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, your question, please. Hello?
Oh, I had already asked my question. I don't know why they unmuted my line. It's PR again. But
Thank you. Yes, your question, please.
Hi, this is Peter from Massachusetts, and I hold a considerable amount of shares in the company, and my one concern is...
Can you speak up, please? I'm sorry.
Yes, this is Peter from Massachusetts, and I hold a considerable amount of shares in the company. And one concern I have is the possibility of a reverse split. What are your thoughts there?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Is there a way that you could speak up?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, slightly.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Peter from Massachusetts.
Yes.
And I hold a considerable amount of shares in the company, and I would like to invest more in the company, but I have one concern is the possibility of a reverse split.
Yes. The reverse split. Okay. Everybody, I've been on record regarding this reverse split. Let me say this. When I go out and I do the trade show, or I did the cannabis website, is it embarrassing that we have 3-4 billion shares outstanding? Absolutely. But the fact is that reverse splits are something that can only be effectuated and work well for shareholders when the share price is at least moving substantially in a positive direction.
Right.
So I've been on record. I hate reverse splits. I haven't seen any that, well, maybe one or two that have actually worked well. But I would not consider reverse splitting without some real positive momentum in the market in terms of the share price and progress on the company. So okay. I hope that answers you. I can never say never, but I don't see it right now. That's for sure.
I believe you answered my question with a positive answer, and I will look forward to investing.
Look, here's the real story. I've been doing this for a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. I've developed a lot of relationships with long-term shareholders, and shareholders that have helped me out. They give me leads, they make introductions, et cetera, et cetera. They give me ideas. And I don't want to burn anybody. I mean, at some point down the road, a reverse happen, but it can't happen, down here. Where I mean, it's just something that the company needs momentum in its share price, and it's a personal thing with me. Right. So, and this is something that I try to stress to shareholders and the investment community. We're different. Yeah, we're a pink sheet. Yeah, we're a trip zip company. Yeah, we have 3-4 billion shares outstanding. All right. And mistakes have been made, and I take the blame for that. But the fact is that how many pink sheet companies out there actually have conference calls where they're willing to take questions from shareholders. Most of them hide behind that. If you call them, you'll never get them. I take phone calls all the time. I would try to respond to each and every email, even the ones that are less than flattering, and I'll just leave it at that. I really do care about this. Yeah, I mean, I'm in this for the long haul. I think we're well positioned, and I don't mind being criticized. I don't have all the answers, but we're moving in the right direction, and I'm proud. I'm proud to be leading the charge, and I think we're on the cusp of being profitable, and that's something that's rare for a pink sheet company. So I appreciate your question. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yes, your question, please.
Hi, this is Martin from Michigan here. And I wanted to kind of piggyback off of the caller before the last in regards to upcoming not only Florida ballots, but I believe 9, 10, 11 states have upcoming ballot initiatives. Not all the same, naturally, but they all pertain to the same thing, and that's the grow industry and a lot of factors that deal with it. My question to you is, I've been following your company for a couple of years now, and my question to you is, A, do you expect to utilize and approach all the states that pass initiatives to advance this company as as more opportunities arise? And B, do you have the employee capacity, the financial to facilitate all that?
Yeah, excellent question. I will tell you that there's several answers there. Number one, I would like to be wherever we can make some money. We have the products. We have people on the ground. You happen to be in Michigan. I grew up in Detroit.
I am in downtown Detroit right now.
Yeah, and I grew up on the east side, and I have people there that would be more than willing to help with the effort, and employees are not an issue. Just out of the shareholding base, I have people that I've developed relationships in various states that are willing to lead the charge, and the capital is really the main thing. I have to create the sound foundation, and I have that now where we can generate the cash flow to be able to branch out. Quite frankly, Maine. No one ever thinks about Maine, but I saw it, and I saw a niche opportunity where we could be a leader. Those are the type of opportunities I seek out. Colorado, there's going to come a point in time where it's going to be oversaturated. And so while there's good money to be made, over the next 3 to 5 years in Colorado, maybe not so much, down the road, because everybody's setting up, massive grow operations, et cetera, et cetera. So as I look at states like Michigan, like Maine, Rhode Island, wherever, those are places, where the company can compete, make healthy margins, and build the brand, and get to a size where we can compete in larger states. But it's kind of the David and Goliath. Right now I need to be able to find areas using, the thinly capitalized company that we have to penetrate those markets, take advantage of them, make the money, build up a treasury where we can then broaden the scope. I'd love to be in Michigan for a variety of reasons. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. I think you have an excellent product. Excellent.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yes, your question, please.
Yes, this is Nate, and I'm up here in Maine, and just basically wanted to check in to see if you had other irons in the fire or any deals that may possibly branch off of this deal that you've come up here to make.
Yeah, I'd like to be on the growth side there. And I don't know whether our entrepreneur grower is listening or not, but if you go into dispensaries, packaging and looks of the product are important. This gentleman happens to grow some phenomenal marijuana, but he could probably use more trimming. The buds don't look that great, but they're very, very good. So he is looking, and some of his friends are probably looking to expand their operations. And with this joint venture, we get to know each other, develop the trust, then we can move into other opportunities. I think Maine's a very, very good market. It's ironic that Maine, I look at Maine and I look at Connecticut, where I live, and the growers in Connecticut each paid, I think, about $1 million to get a license, and there's only 4 growers, and they're very, 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 very good growers, and their grow facilities are like clean rooms and semiconductor wafer labs. Everybody wears white uniforms, et cetera, but in Connecticut, there's only 1,800 medical marijuana card holders. So I don't know what these 4 growers are going to do in terms of who they're going to sell to. Maine's a different story. It's a much more attractive market. And in particular, what I like about Maine, it's only 7 hours away, and I can get up there often and keep an eye on the operation. But it's something where one thing always leads to another. I mean, if you asked me a month ago whether we'd be doing mobile testing labs, I would have said no. But, it's only through these contacts that opportunities crop up. Someone still wants us to investigate doing a seed bank up in Maine. And I've looked at that, and I'm not sure it's legally feasible. But you never know. So once we have boots on the ground, certainly we'll follow whatever opportunities are presented to us.
All right. Well, great. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Your question, please?
Yes, my name is Murray from Kansas, and I have a couple questions about some current products that we have, one being the Concept 420 and the other being the MJ Merchant.
Yes.
Do we, originally it seemed like our mission statement was to have unique products that, no one else had and that were kind of one of a kind and truly artistic, and it seems like a lot of the inventory on 420 Concept is very generic. Do we have plans to overhaul that and also to utilize it as more of an advertising platform on Facebook? And secondly, have we landed a bank with MJ Merchant And have we looked to Oregon? Because I hear Oregon has some more bank-friendly hosts.
Excellent questions. Let me address 420. 420 is something that, I thought that, I'd build it and they would come. And then I heard from, numerous people that our prices were too high. And so I started taking a look at that and looking at some pricing strategies, which, some have been implemented, particularly where we have relationships with manufacturers like Atmos and Chameleon Glass, et cetera. And you're absolutely correct. We are being lost. Well, there's two things. Number one is we haven't successfully implemented an SEO program so that we're constantly being Googled at the top of a search. Secondly, I have reached out, and quite frankly, it's a matter of time and bandwidth on my part. I have reached out to some individual product manufacturers, artisans, and I'm probably told this story before, so excuse me if I tell it again. But I contacted a glass blower in Colorado who's well known, and I said, "Look, I'd love to carry your products." And he said, "All right, fantastic." I said, "Okay, all we need is a picture, and we need a description, and tell me what the price is." And he says, "Well, I don't know what I want to sell these things for." And I called him back. He said, I still don't know what I want to sell these things for." It makes it difficult when someone can't tell me what I can buy the product for to be able to offer it. And I'm not sure that's a current that runs through the artisans or not, but it's certainly something that I need to spend more time on. Right now, the inordinate amount of my time is being spent where we can make significant capital, significant revenues and profits. But the 420 concept is a product that, quite frankly, I love it. I mean, I open up my email, I see the orders come in, and I just process the orders. They're all drop shipped, et cetera, et cetera. It's nothing, and the margins remain healthy. Quite frankly, I'm disappointed that more people had not. I have probably 1,200 shareholders, and you have 1,700 people signed up for MJ Exchange, although they rarely use it. I would have thought that I would drive more traffic that way, but that's not the case. So I need to do more SEO work, and I need to refine and probably go from 500 products down to 100, 150 products, and have those be products that where we have direct relationships with the manufacturers, and those specialty products that nobody else has, so that we can get that extra premium in the margin and be the place to go to. In terms of MJ Merchant, we had signed an agreement whereby we got 50% of every each transaction charge that the credit card processing company charges. And quite frankly, they were overwhelmed and underprepared. There is a new processing company. I'm waiting for the details, but my understanding is that their workaround is not necessarily through a bank, but they have set up a private equity fund has gotten involved in the back end to be able to handle the credit card transactions. And so I'm waiting for the package and the agreement on that, and hope to have that in the next week.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Your question, please? Hello? Hello? I'll move on. Yes, your question, please. Hello? I can hear you.
Oh, I'd already asked my question.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I think I got one more. Yes, your question, please.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Chris, and I got a question in regards to the reverse stock split subject matter. I know you've already talked about this already, but
Sure.
you say there would not be any reverse stock split in, say, the next 90 days?
Yes.
All righty. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. That looks like all the questions. Let me just summarize. We are in a good spot. We have products. We're working hard. We will be generating significant revenues in the near future. We are doing everything legally, and I'm as optimistic as ever. And I see the sky's the limit. And quite frankly, again, I hate to harp on it, but it is a pet peeve to see, not a pet peeve, a real sore point with me to see their stock trading where it's trading. We have a lot of products to offer, and the future is extremely bright. I'm committed. The other people that are working with me are committed, and we will succeed. Again, failure is not an option, and I'll be damned if I don't get this ship going in the right direction and make us profitable and have the shareholders participate in that reward. I do thank everybody's time for joining in on the conference call. This is being recorded, and I will get the recording up on the website as soon as I'm able to, but certainly in the next day or so. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and go GDSM. Thank you.